Hello and welcome, Cześć, Witaj, to episode 10 of Pierogi to Perfect English. I'm here again, that's me, James, and I'm joined by the magnificent Stephanie.
Hello. It always feels so weird when you say my proper given name at birth.
Oh, do you prefer Steph or Effie?
No, I don't have a preference. I would say in Indonesia, everyone says Effie, and if I go back home to Canada, Stephanie.
Yeah, I apologise if it sounds too formal. It's a nice name.
Tragically common, James. It was in my year, I don't want to say the year I'm born and feel really old.
Uh-huh.
It was the number one most popular name in North America. So I remember in high school at one point, I had an entire volleyball team, and we were all Stephanie.
An entire volleyball team of Stephanies. Sounds like some kind of AI clone thing gone wrong.
I know. Episode of Black Mirror,
Yeah.
but legit, there were 6 of us in one class.
I remember reading a Philip K. Dick book. He did books like Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep? And in that story there was these clone boys called Davids. I don't know, have you ever read his work? But anyway, he's a soldier and he's like, I don't know, trying not to get killed. And he meets this little boy in a war zone called David. And of course, this kid's really vulnerable. He's like a small boy. So David joins the soldier in search for the helicopter so they can escape from this war zone. As the soldier and David continue to meander through the forests, at some point, the soldier comes across another David and a third David, and then he realizes actually he's being followed by robot clones. Very surreal. Just remind me of that.
Netflix, or where did you stream this?
No, it's a
How old is
book.
this one?
It's a book.
Oh, Jesus, I need to listen better. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's Philip K. Dick. He did Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep, and he did Minority Report with Tom Cruise.
Okay.
So he wrote the original stories like ages ago, before the internet and all that stuff.
I want to admit how bad my level of reading is as of late.
Uh-huh.
But if you watched anything interesting, what has been your go-to show, or what's something you've watched recently?
I literally don't have a television, so I can't really watch anything. It would be YouTube things. I did watch something, but it's a bit controversial. Can we talk about it on here? Okay, so
disclaimer right now.
Disclaimer,
There's kids listening.
Children, close your ears. It's on YouTube, to be fair, but there's a guy called Posh Pete. That's his nickname. Posh means like upper class, well educated, bit of money, posh. And Posh Pete, for many, many years, was an international drug smuggler involved in smuggling millions of pounds of cocaine from South America to the UK. And I normally don't care about these kind of stories because, crime, not that interesting really. But his stories were amazing, really, really interesting. He is very, very well spoken and very smart. And the most interesting part of it for me was he wasn't doing it for the money. He was doing it because he enjoyed the strategy of it, because he's a chess player.
Oh, seriously? Did he end up getting caught?
He got caught, but not through his own fault. Okay. He had an arrangement with a Colombian and a Chilean, someone from Chile, who were involved. This trio were involved together, and they had a laboratory in London where, so I need to give you a bit more information. So what they were doing is they were injecting the cocaine into tent ground sheets. So they discovered that you can actually turn this drug into plastic and then turn it back into cocaine.
What kind of sheets?
The ground sheets where you sleep, the bottom of the tent. It's a thin plastic sheet that stops you getting wet. That's a ground sheet.
Okay.
All right.
I did not know this.
Okay. So a ground sheet is the thing you sleep on. It's a thin piece of plastic. And so what they're doing is they would They would fly to Ecuador in South America, posing as like archaeologists or whatever, spend a couple of weeks camping in Ecuador, and then come back with a tent in their backpack, and no one thought anything of it. So when they got back to London, they would bring the tent, and then they had a laboratory where they could spend a couple of days and they could extract the drugs from the tent and then sell them. Anyway, so Pete, he's in Ecuador doing his thing, and the Colombian and the Chilean are in London in the lab, and these guys get a bit carried away and decide to like have some friends round, have some girls round, and have some loud music playing. And of course that draws the attention of the police, who eventually raid it, and that's how it all got uncovered. And then Pete got arrested in Ecuador, and he ended up 10 years in an Ecuadorian prison, which is a whole story in itself, because it's one of the most dangerous places in the world to be in prison.
Okay, I read a book, but it's been a while ago. I had to go and find it. Maybe, I don't know if you know this guy. The book's called Mr. Nice, and it's about Howard Marks.
I know Howard Marks. It's a classic book.
Okay, Britain's Most Wanted Man, 7 years in America's toughest penitentiaries. But another one that's quite charismatic, and he was smuggling, I think, mostly marijuana, and he was like a double, triple secret agent, and was working for the same time for the CIA, IRA, Mafia, and was like a master escape artist. It's been a while since I've read the book, and I have no idea how it came in my possession in the first place. I don't think it's something I would have picked up on my own, but it was pretty decent.
Yeah, they're surprising, these tales. Like I said, I've got no interest in this subject generally, but I do like a good story, and some of these situations these people get themselves into are just really, really, really amazing, quite incredible, and really funny as well.
Do you like you said you're not a big fan of crime books or shows, murder docos, those kind of things?
Yeah, so when I say crime, I mean, I think there's a lot of glorification of crime, and like gangsters and mafia, and I'm not into that. But I am interested in how crimes are solved. So there's a really good show in the UK. If anybody's got access to the BBC, I recommend it, or you can probably find it on YouTube. It's called 24 Hours in Police Custody. And basically in the UK, if you arrest someone, you've got 24 hours where you can keep them and interview them. If you haven't got enough evidence to charge them, then you have to let them out.
There's something in America called the first 48.
Okay.
And I think something similar, but I have to look up the basis. I think it's maybe similar context to that, or that the essential key hours of nabbing someone and holding them. Yeah,
but there's a big difference, I think, generally speaking, between how like American crime shows and British crime shows are kind of done. Like British are very low-key, like, all right, let's make a cup of tea and have a chat about it. There's no music, or very minimal music. The editing's slow. And speaking of crime, have you seen like Indonesian crime stories or news reports? They're always hilarious, I find.
They're always hilarious. When we had our riots not so long ago, what was it, like 6 months ago? You guys surely had some, well, they're bad in Japan. Corruption case in Mahoney.
Corruption. When the people got really annoyed with the corrupt politicians. Yes, it was funny, actually.
And they raided his house, and Instagram, like just a series of comedic gold, to be honest, with how Indonesians manage things sometimes.
Yeah, I remember seeing a video of someone like carrying a fridge freezer out of somebody's front door. That was stealing everything. Sink.
Was an older, like here, you've heard the term ibu-ibu. So this is like a stereotype of an older Indonesian housewife. Which in Indonesia, they're gangsters. These women, they run the show.
Yeah.
Yes, she was very, conservative woman, fully
Okay.
covered up, and she was in the midst of the riot in one of those public parks doing those free outdoor exercise machines, whilst tear gas was being thrown, and she was just calmly doing her workout in the midst of everyone running through the streets and complete chaos and panic.
I remember seeing a video where, like, it was these cops in Indonesia, and they'd arrested like these 4 kids for drinking alcohol or something, and they turned it into like a 15-minute dramatization, exciting music and like flashlights in their face and everything, and there were 4 rather polite and startled young boys who were drinking a bit of whiskey or something, and they shouldn't been. And this got, splashed all over the TV, like, look at this, the police doing their job. And I was just, wow, this is so over the top.
Yeah, it's high drama here. I would guess you don't watch a lot of the Indonesian films, movies, horror genre.
My wife works in that, so actually I do watch the horror genre because she's doing subtitles for the Netflix shows. And sometimes I have to go through them with her. So I do see them. There's a lot of screaming.
Oh yeah, definitely. A lot of very, very over dramatic reactions. But I think that's generally, even if I walk my dogs, they get quite, I don't know, I guess you could say riled up, stressed, terrified of my very stupid, dopey, harmless 2 dogs.
I mean, people in Indonesia, they are very expressive, aren't they? And it's a bit different to how in Europe, I think we moderate our volume a lot. If we're in a public space, people often keep their voice down, but in Indonesia, I don't think that custom is customary.
I had an entire lesson about cultural differences between Western and Indonesian things with one of my students, where we discussed some of the differences in volumes, one of those. I remember researching many years ago about spatial awareness and how there's a lack of spatial awareness here. And I think I remember looking it up while I was in India, and it was just the sheer numbers of people that you just go about and do what you need to, because there's so many people. It's very different from Canada, where we have a small population and a massive country. So people are very mindful of being in someone else's personal space.
Yeah.
But I mean, England is a pretty huge population, and I would say British more than anything are very mindful of being in other people's area or queues, as the old joke goes about British people minding the queue.
I don't know. It's odd about the UK. People often think of it as being overpopulated, but it's 70 million people. But I think something like 80% or even 90% of the land mass isn't even built on. So we've got a lot of green space. However, of course, if everyone's crammed into that 10 or 15%, people are kind of concentrated into towns and cities. Yeah, I think as part of the British culture, children are taught to be seen but not heard.
Maybe it's different because I'm a parent.
Yeah.
But for me, it's really nice not to have that anxiety, and that Indonesians are so tolerant of children and the fact that they make noise. Like, I've never been in a place where I'm stressed or I have to tell my daughter to keep it down, because they're used to it. They don't mind. They actually celebrate it when my daughter's very, very talkative, and they love it here. They were like, oh, good, she's so brave. She chats a lot, and she'll like follow them around, and they're so receptive and warm. So I love that children aren't really silenced here.
Yeah, I think as it should be. There's a good example of the contrasting kind of cultures there. One thing I would point out as well, like if you go into a restaurant in Indonesia and it's empty, and you take a seat maybe with your friend or your husband or whatever, right, and you're in there, and then let's say another family come in, they'll come and sit right next to you even though the restaurant is completely empty. In the UK, we would sit in like the furthest opposite corner, naturally.
Yeah,
pretty much
near someone else.
Yeah, but Indonesia, like, oh, there's people there. Let's go sit next to them.
But I think that's the like curiosity's sake of them wanting to just have a chat and be friendly, which would be unimaginable in Canada. I would be like, why are you even talking to me? I like that friendliness here, and that it's so normal to chat with people, smile, and that you can put it on. But maybe I'm a big fan of small talk and chit chat.
Oh, on a different subject, I see a lot of stuff on the news about the like waste disposal, like the rubbish problem in Bali. That's a growing problem. You live there. What's news from the ground, Steph?
Tragic. And I hate it because I have been bugging all of my students to come visit me or you or us in Indonesia. And normally I would be so proud and I would brag and tell them how good Bali is. And it normally is, but we've got a crisis at the moment where they've shut the garbage dumps.
Wow.
And they want to implement a recycling program, which is wonderful. Everyone should recycle. Most countries have been recycling, but unfortunately here there's no step or proper guides to actually implement this. So we've had weeks of them being like they don't collect organic, and that everyone should learn to compost overnight. So, you know, most people live in a single room sort of unit, so this is not very practical space-wise. And with no clear plan or no one knowing how to collect it, it's led to it either being dumped in rivers or burnt.
I thought they made it illegal to do the burning. Isn't it illegal now?
It is, but they can't contain it because everyone's burning. It's easy to catch when a few are doing it, but it's impossible to keep track when literally everyone is burning at the moment because it's terrible. And I hope they get a handle on it in the next months because the pollution, the smoke right now is so bad. And it's always been a thing, but I think last week I went. For those that don't know, I'm just outside of a tourist area. It takes me about 7 minutes to get to Sanur Beach. And it was the first time in front of a 5-star hotel I witnessed them burning bags of plastic trash. Yeah, not a good look for Bali. Really insane that it's hit this point and that the governor here hasn't figured out a solution as of yet.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. They haven't figured it out yet. Like, I mean, I appreciate it's not easy, but I mean, come on. There's the world deals with garbage, so there's methods, you know.
Yeah, I have right now my backyard looks like a jungle and I desperately need to cut trees, but I'm terrified to cut anything because I don't know where to put everything for weeks on it until there's a solution with the organic waste. So I have no idea what to do other than to just let it run into a jungle.
I mean, organic waste is less bad. I mean, it depends how much cuttings you have. Do you not have a corner of the garden you can just turn into a compost dump, or you don't want the insects?
Rats bring snakes too.
Yeah.
I have excellent rat-killing dogs, but I have a pretty strong phobia of snakes, and too much organic waste brings rats, and rats bring snakes.
Plant lemongrass. Snakes don't like lemongrass.
Really? Okay. Really? Do you have snakes? Is that a massive issue where you are in Java?
I mean, it's an issue Indonesia-wide, isn't it? But I've been doing some research, and I'm looking at a plant called vetiver. It's an anti-erosion plant because it has really deep roots. But it's part of the lemongrass family, and basically snakes don't like it. So it's good for me. It's good to protect the erosion of my land, but it also keeps the snakes away. So bamboo, for example, snakes love bamboo. So if you've got bamboo in your garden, get rid of that if you can.
I'm impressed because you're like really, or at least your new property, not where you're currently living, but the land that you've brought is proper jungle.
I'm sure there's some up there, but we don't spend much time there at the moment as it's still just a building site, really. We found some interesting lizards there, like kind of iguana-style chameleon things hanging on the trees. Yeah, but no snakes yet. I mean, because I've got cats, snakes are like mortal enemy.
How many cats are you at now?
Still 4. Although one of our cats tried to kill himself yesterday.
Okay, explain.
Okay, yeah, it's a bit of a loaded one, isn't it? He was chasing, this is Polka. Polka was chasing Netta's Polka's mum. Chasing her around the house, should I say. And it's hard to explain, but there's a chest of drawers, and there's 3 drawers. And the handles on the drawers are metal, and they've kind of got 2 prongs sticking out either side. And the cat just ran straight into one of the prongs, kind of head on. I didn't quite see it, but it looked to me like he caught his shoulder on it. My wife said it looked like he hit his head. I don't know, it happened very quick. But he slammed straight into a sharp metal solid object. And then for about 10 minutes, his walking was all a bit off. Like he didn't look very good balance, like maybe he had a bit of concussion. And he kept wanting to sit down, but he's okay today. But it did look pretty bad at the time. We were like, oh no, is he going to be brain damaged or something? Or has he cracked his shoulder.
This case of kitty side.
Yeah, I mean, they're normally very graceful animals that do amazing, are amazing at navigating stuff. But yeah, he just ran straight into it hard.
Everyone has an off day.
That's true. That's true, yeah.
Once you've got your house built, you have enough for a kitty sanctuary. So we were supposed to go today, actually, to a cat sanctuary cafe thing, and didn't realize they're closed on Sundays.
Are you going to buy a kitten or an adult cat?
I think an adult, to be honest. I don't know, with my dogs, to have a baby kitty, and
Really?
I'd rather a cat where I know its personality, and everyone wants a kitty. It's harder to adopt out an older cat, so I'd love to give a second chance to a more seasoned, mature kitty cat.
I like that. That's a nice thing to do. All right, let's wrap up for now. But when you do get your new cat, please introduce him or her to me via WhatsApp.
Yeah, I will definitely. We'll be on the cat hunt.
All right. I know you've got an early start in the morning, so I'm going to let you go get some rest.
Right. It's nice having a little catch up, and hopefully everyone enjoys our idle chit chat, world news from this side of the earth.
All right, Steph. Have a good evening, sleep well, and I'll see you on episode 11, I guess, pretty soon.
Yeah. All right. Thanks,
Bye.
James. Take care.
Take care. Bye-bye.